I had been driving for hours, my eyelids heavy, my body aching from the long stretch of empty highway ahead. The gas gauge blinked low, and my GPS had long since lost its signal. That's when I saw it. A flickering neon sign in the distance, barely visible through the thick fog rolling over the road. Sunset Pines Motel. Vacancy. The place looked like it had been abandoned for years. The parking lot was cracked, weeds pushing through the concrete, and the paint on the building was peeling, revealing rotting wood beneath. But exhaustion had taken hold of me. I didn't care how run down it looked. I just needed a place to rest. I pulled into the lot, the sound of gravel crunching beneath my tires the only noise in the eerie silence. Stepping out of the car, I felt an unnatural stillness in the air. No wind, no sounds of insects, just a hollow emptiness that made my skin crawl. I hesitated before heading toward the front office. Through the dusty glass, I could see a bell sitting on the counter. With no sign of a clerk, I pressed it once. A sharp ding rang through the empty room. Silence followed. Then, ever so faintly, a shuffle of movement from the back office. An old man emerged, his face pale and expressionless. He looked off, like he didn't belong. His clothes were clean but outdated, as if frozen in time. He slid a key across the counter without a word. Room 6. I wanted to ask questions about the price, the condition of the place, but something about the way he stared at me made my throat tighten. I took the key and nodded, hurrying to my car and grabbing my bag before heading toward my room. The corridor smelled of mildew, and the dim yellow light bulbs above flickered as I passed. My hands trembled as I inserted the key, the old lock resisting before finally clicking open. The room was exactly as I expected. Stained carpet, faded wallpaper, and a musty scent that clung to everything. The bed sagged in the middle, and the TV was one of those old boxy models with dials instead of buttons. But the worst part? There was a mirror hanging across from the bed, cracked in the corner, and something about it felt wrong. I turned away, shaking the feeling off. Locking the door behind me, I collapsed onto the bed, exhaustion winning over my unease. I told myself I'd rest for a few hours, get some sleep and leave at first light. But that wasn't going to happen. Because as soon as I closed my eyes, the nightmare began. It started with whispers. Faint, unintelligible murmurs crawling through the silence. My eyes shot open, my body frozen. The room was pitch black, the dim motel lamp flickering as if struggling to stay on. Then, a knock at the door. Software slow. I held my breath, my pulse hammering in my ears. Who would be knocking at this hour? The old man? Another guest? Something in my gut told me not to answer. I stayed still, waiting. And then the knock came again, louder this time, more urgent. Summoning my courage, I crept toward the peephole, pressing my eye against it. Nothing, just the empty hallway. But then, something moved. A shadow just out of view. My breath hitched as a low, garbled whisper seeped through the door. "Let me in." I stumbled back, reaching for my phone. No service, no Wi-Fi, no escape. My car keys. I scrambled to grab them, but just as I did, the mirror cracked louder, as if something had struck it from the inside. I turned, my stomach twisting into knots. In the dim reflection, I saw my own face, but my reflection wasn't moving with me. It stood still, its eyes wide, a grin slowly stretching across its face. Then, in a chilling, rasping voice, it spoke. "You shouldn't have come here." I barely had time to scream before the lights went out completely. I don't remember much after that, just running. The door that wouldn't open. The feeling of something watching me from the darkness. And the moment I blacked out, the last thing I heard was my own laughter echoing from the mirror. But I wasn't the one laughing. When I woke up, it was morning. The motel was gone. No building, no parking lot. Just an overgrown field where it once stood. My car sat on the side of the road, covered in dust. as if it had been there for years. I checked my phone, a full signal. No record of the motel ever existing. But the key, the rusted key to room 6, was still clutched in my hand.